I realize a lot of you might not know what all of this is. These are paper patterns, stencils, paper patterns. They are cut out on this thicker manila paper. I do that because these are patterns that I'm going to keep reusing. But this is one of my paper stencils for one of my wallets. And the reason why I do this is because I want the exact same measurements every time. I don't want to think about it. I just want to be able to cut it out as quick as possible. I already have the holes marked here. I'm going to punch them through, but they're here. I don't know if it'll focus. But this is going to give me the exact measurements every time. I'll just trace around it in leather. I'm going to iron it so it's flat. But then, you just fold it like this, and then there you go. There is your leather wallet. But a lot of people don't realize that we do use stencils because that's going to give you consistency when you're manufacturing something, you're making something over and over again. It's going to give you consistency. And this is also the time that you are supposed to inspect your pattern, because there's 3 steps of the process as a designer. There's the the 3 main beginning parts of the process. Is designing it, coming up with the idea, sketching it, then you're moving on to the pattern making, and then this is the next step for me, step number 3, which is printing out or cutting out the patterns. I use the Cricut machine. It's the best thing for me, and it's the most time-saving thing, is just use the Cricut machine because I do everything on the computer. If you guys want a full tutorial of how I do the patterns, actually, you know what? Y'all don't even have to comment if you want a full tutorial, but I am going to do it. If you have a specific thing that you want me to make a pattern on, comment and put a little green heart, because I'll make a pattern of something that I don't have just to make it if you guys have something that you're obsessed with. But yeah, so I'll do a whole pattern making video on how I do my patterns from A to Z. But yeah, so this is also the time to inspect your pattern. So what I typically do is I have here, like, I would check all the measurements. There's also, this should have seam allowance. So this has the space for where the stitches are going to go. I know the stitches are going to go this far in, and I want to check that measurement. Some people like to mark it out with a ruler. I don't need to because I already know on leather, like, all mine are the same. So here is how it's going to look. And yeah, I can check now with a credit card if it fits in, if it's correct. And even yesterday I found a pattern that was off. I didn't like it. It was off by like half an inch, and I decided to change it. This is the time in the process that if you do have a mistake, you need to change it, because it's gonna be a game changer. A lot of people like to be like, oh, well, I don't know, I'm gonna see. No, don't cut it out in leather. If you see that on the paper version that it's wrong, or that you're not sure, or you're questioning, is this okay? Just make another paper copy. Change it, make an edit. What I like to do is save it with the new date so that it's like updated. So at the end, it's the same file name, but with an updated. And then I edit the pattern, recut it. I'm gonna recut it right now and check it again, because this is the time to check it again. Because once you start cutting it in leather and you start, like, you also might even like throw it in the wrong folder, save it, and then now you have the wrong file. So it's best to just check everything before you reorganize, before you put everything away. Fix it. Fix whatever problems in your patterns you have immediately. Write it down. Do whatever you got to do to keep that information, because that's when people have problems when they're manufacturing, is they don't write things down. They don't take notes of what needs to be updated, and then it never gets updated, and then it falls through the cracks, and then No. That's the biggest difference between a good designer and a lazy designer. Write it down. Write it down and fix it right away. All right, so I'm going to put everything in these binders. I'm going to show you guys that. So let's get back to that.